We've earned that right, I think, going into the final game, being able to relax and play.
I expect Leeds to turn up and try and win the match.
They're the ones that have to force it, they're the ones that have to get a result.
Welcome to the pre-match pint with London Pride. We're down here at the Fuller's Tap Room and Brewery in Chiswick. Bees fans, get yourself down here for 10% off, and you can also get 10% off online using the code pre-match pint. I've popped out a little pint with my mates, Natalie Sawyer, Rhys, Weston and Marcus Gayle. How are we all after the awards night last night?
Good, thank you, Stuart.
Lovely.
Very good.
Just
Very
topping
good.
up, aren't you, Rhys, to be fair?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ever the professional.
Mm-hmm.
I normally start with a toast. I think we just do a toast to, I know it's not over, but an amazing season, because
Incredible season.
we're going into the Leeds United game in a fantastic position to potentially get top 10 still this season, so toast to our season so
forward to
far.
it.
Cheers to that.
We'll talk a bit about the season and look back and do a few maybe extra awards from last night and stuff, but I want to talk about Everton first. I've got it on my hands. I think that was probably the best atmosphere I've ever experienced at a football game pre-game. I thought their fans created so much noise, it was intimidating. But Marcus, we dealt with it well, didn't we?
Yeah, very well. I think the squad were prepared for it and handled it really well. Bit of a rocky start, but overcame it, got to our game plan, executed it well, and came away with the points.
Frank Lampard said about the sending off kind of changed the game. It's hard to say how much of an impact it did have, but they were having a lot of the ball in the opening 10 minutes, weren't they, Rhys? They were also quite aggrieved about the decision. What was your take on it with the Adja kind of thing? For me, I thought Richarlison had as much of Chris's shirt as he had Richarlison's.
Yeah, I think it was a non-event, if I'm honest. It was very 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I think Brentford, by the letter of the law, last man. Ivan's done well to get in front of him, cut his heels clipped, and it changed the whole dynamic of the game. But having said that, you've seen countless times how teams struggle against 10 men, and Everton did start well, as you'd expect them to do. But the tactical changes, the way the team controlled possession, it was brilliant. Again, a real fitting finish to our away days. Thomas alluded to it last night. The awards, how amazing the away fans have been, and to go out on a bang like that was incredible.
You said there about playing against 10 men. When you've played against 10 men, why is it harder sometimes?
Well, it's just the mentality you're facing, isn't it? I think it kind of galvanises teams, become far harder to break down, less inclined to throw bodies forward. So again, you've got to be patient, and that's where your creative players come to the fore. I mentioned Matthias Jensen and Christian Eriksen, of course, people that can see passes, that can keep play moving, move play quickly. And I think it's not easy, and also there's the expectation of having the extra man to go and win that game. And I think it was an exhibition of how to play against 10 men, to be honest with you. It was brilliant.
And twice you had to come from behind, Natalie, and we've seen us do that a lot this year. What does that tell you about this squad and this group of players?
Just resilient, and will play to that final whistle, which is so very important, as we always know. But I think I read something about we've won 15 points from losing positions, which is the most of any team I'd read at that point, which is fantastic for a new team coming up into the Premier League, showing that they've no fear. We're going to keep going until the very end. Obviously the red card did change it, and Everton did have to come out and be the team that had to force something in the game, because they're the ones that had the most pressure on them. I was actually just surprised by Frank Lampard. I didn't think he made changes soon enough. I mean, the first substitution he made is at 3-2 down. For me, I just didn't really understand that. So I was kind of surprised by him. Thomas made all the right calls, and wow, I mean, I was there. I was actually in the Everton end because I've been invited by some friends who are Everton fans. I know, no, but I was rightly there.
Were you even there?
I have a family.
Oh, so you
Sure.
you touted Natalie,
It's
but
like
you weren't
just
actually
said,
there.
I have family. Is that what, that's your reason? I have family.
That's it.
No, I have a family excuse. I just have family.
Yeah, that's it.
We
That's
all
what I've
have
got.
family.
Yes, true.
You got it red there, mate, sorry.
Yeah, you exposed me. Yeah.
I just wanted to reiterate the atmosphere, and wow, there I am sat with all my friends, and it was just unbelievable. And I thought, my goodness, how are we going to ride this? But we did eventually, and actually the atmosphere dropped once the game changed completely, and we did brilliantly.
Marcus, what's the most kind of hostile atmosphere that you've played in? Would you
That
say?
would probably be against Everton.
Yeah.
All those years ago. And it was one that you had to embrace as well. As I said, we went into it in good form, good mood, and we didn't win on the day, but gladly Brentford overcame that at the weekend, showed a lot of courage. And also Thomas as well, making the changes at half time, the shape change as well, so we can get the width on the pitch. Really sort of exposed Everton on the day, and it paid off.
Rhys, when you've played in those atmospheres, how does it feel when you're walking out? Because we got booed as soon as it was loud boos, and then when they came out, it was like they'd scored a goal. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
So the obviously I'm going, oh, you get nervous, but what is the actual what do you feel when you hear that?
I think it can evoke a lot of emotion depending on the individuals and the group, but I think also it can have a galvanising effect, and kind of it's them against us, isn't it? It's quite tribal at times, and if you know you're going to a hostile environment, the atmosphere before the game in the dressing room, the words from the manager, I'm sure opponents would have had a few words, just to make sure people keep calm heads.
Yeah.
And just play the game for what it is. I think it helped the fact that there's nothing really riding on it for us other than additional points at stake, and you can play the game for what it is. Otherwise, if you get embroiled in the atmosphere, again, tackles go flying in and the rest of it. You saw, like Rondon, for example, when he got caught up in the emotion of it.
Yeah.
So I think, again, top to bottom, the emotions were controlled really well by the guys. Tough start to the match, but I think that trying to keep your heads and not get overawed by it, it's sometimes easier said than done, but I think we earned the right to play the game the way we did.
Yep.
But yeah, it's always difficult to overcome, but we've got a really calm group of players, thankfully.
Right, well, we'll need calm heads again because we've got a big game on Sunday against Leeds United. Marcus, this is obviously being filmed Thursday afternoon. There's a big game tonight with Burnley playing Aston Villa, which will have a big bearing on that Sunday. And actually as well, Everton, of course, playing Palace at home. If it stays like it is at the moment and Burnley, well, even if they do get a result, what are you expecting from Leeds on Sunday?
I expect Leeds to turn up and try and win the match. They're going to be hostile, but we have to expect that. We're prepared for it. We had a good sort of introduction to a hostile environment last week, so we're very much prepared to go in again. But this time it's at our own place, so we can control the sort of atmosphere and the volume with our own fans. But as Rhys touched on, we've got players that can stay calm in those big emotions of the game, and I think that's going to be key.
Natalie, with regards to on the pitch, we've seen Leeds under Jesse Marsh, people could say aggressive in their play at times recently. When we're talking about calm heads and cool heads, do you think Sunday we could see a different approach from them, or do you think they will be from the first moment in our faces, pressure?
Obviously it's different because they're away from home. If it was at home, it'd be slightly different, obviously, I imagine. But again, they're the ones that have to force it. They're the ones that have to get a result. I know, obviously, we want to get a result as well. We want to win because we want to try and finish in the top half. But in a way, I wouldn't be surprised if we allow them a bit of time on the ball just to see what they can do with it. Bide our time, which I think we've done a lot this season anyway. We sometimes have started on the back foot and just grown into a game. But the pressure's all on them. Once again, like it was on Everton, it's all on them. We can actually just enjoy it, hopefully. And hopefully our players will turn up and do what they've been doing for the majority of the season, and we'll have a really good game to look forward to.
Rhys, do you think sometimes when you are playing pressure off, it can make you play better?
Can do, definitely. I mean, removing pressure invariably does help performance. It's again, we've earned that right, I think, going into the final game, being able to relax and play. But to Natalie's point, finishing the top half in your first ever top flight season would be incredible. It's a great opportunity to give everyone a really good send off. It's been an amazing season for everyone involved with the club, and to play Leeds at home last day with the pressure off. It's what we dream about, right?
When you think back to a few months ago, we were thinking that could be a relegation decider. So for us to just be coming into it with nothing really to worry about, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. All credit to the team and Thomas and his staff. Well,
look, make sure you get down nice and early on Sunday. Obviously there is some travel disruption, but also make sure you're wearing your colours. We want to make it a sea of red and white, and then we can do a proper appreciation to the lads. And they will be coming back out at the end of the game, so it's obvious for me to say, please stay off the pitch at the full-time whistle. The team will go back in and then they will come back out for a lap of appreciation, and hopefully Thomas will say a few words. It'd be nice to now kind of look back on this amazing year. I know we did it last night, we had 6 awards, but let's have a little couple of extra awards maybe. And I want to do one for like the unsung player of the season, the player that maybe hasn't got the credit that they deserve. Rhys, I'm going to throw this at you first.
Thanks.
Well, you're the only person I prepped on it.
Yeah, true enough. So
I was going to say, I have no idea we're doing this.
That way, see.
Yeah.
Prep. No, I think Ethan again has shown his credentials. You know, his journey to the Premier League's been incredible. You know, just development, Dulwich, Forest Green, Barnsley, Brentford in the Championship, and just cruising through the Premier League. Obviously, we've missed him, I think, since he's been injured. But he's shown again that he's got a lot more to offer at this level. Both Madses, you know, if that's the right term, Madses is. Mads back, you know, Mads Roslev again, beating graduates that's showing that they can cut it at this level. And I'm going to steal your one as well. I mean, Johan Wisser as well. He's again, considering the limited time he's had to start, you know, his return's been fantastic. He's become a cult hero with the fans, rightly so. So yeah, there's a few there. Hopefully, I've taken everyone else's choices.
Yeah. Well, I've got one.
Good.
I'm going Josh Kirk, who's in our live audience today.
Sisters in the room now. He's blushing over there.
He's blushing. There's no camera on him, but he's blushing.
Come on.
We can't get a camera on him because he's got a rival brand on his hat. He's done that on purpose to make sure he doesn't get on camera. Natalie, you got any on that?
Well, again, there's a couple of that. I mean, ones you've already mentioned, brilliant. I think obviously Rico Henry has just been fantastic all season and rightly has deserved all the plaudits he's got. I'd also add in Pontus Jansson. I know you mentioned it yesterday about that, you know, wondering, and he even said about questioning himself, having that imposter syndrome, making that step up. But I think he's just been brilliant this season. So
I said it last night again. I think he's been better in the Premier League than he was in the Championship.
Absolutely. I think there's just been a real composure to him. And yeah, I think defensively, they've all been brilliant, really. Yeah. I mean, Norgard deserves all the awards that he got last night, but yeah, I would also add in Pontus.
I don't know, this is probably maybe more directed. Oh no, to be fair, you've been away a couple of times, didn't you? Away day this season.
Oh,
wow. What's been your favourite away day, Rhys?
Well,
out of three?
Let me think. Definitely wasn't Arsenal. I don't know. Can you answer that question, please? My away showing's been poor. I accept that.
I mean, we only just spoke about it, but the Everton game, the atmosphere, and being able to kind of overcome that as an away day for me was just brilliant. I just loved it. I loved the fact that in a way we quietened down that Everton support who's been so ferocious.
I have. Went to Leeds.
Well done, mate.
Away.
There you go.
Well,
there you go, see? Haven't forgotten that.
Have you seen us win away?
No.
Well, I've been on a losing record until the Everton game, to be fair.
Marcus?
For me, it's a split between West Ham away and Chelsea away.
I agree.
Those two stand out massively for me.
I thought, for me, it's hard not to say Chelsea, I think. But I think West Ham. Well done, mate. Next year, come along with me if you want.
I might come to go next season.
I think just for the last minute though, West Ham, it was just utter carnage, and first half we were phenomenal, and second half we had to weather a bit of a storm at times because they kind of were on the front foot, and so then for them to peg us back and then the last kick of the game, and I think even just the fact that at this point Pontus hadn't scored and he had the header that got saved, and then to come back to Wisser, the celebration right in front of us, I think. Sounds like I'm saying West Ham now, actually, but beating the world champions on their own patch was just absolutely incredible. Goal of the season. It went to Sergi Canos.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're in agreement.
We're in agreement.
I'm in agreement with Vitali's Stamford Bridge, that second one. I just love that slick, the movement between Brian and Ivan, and then obviously setting up Vitali, and from such a tight angle to have chipped that in. I thought that was brilliant. But I totally understand why Sergi won the award for the sort of romantic side of it as well. And it was a fabulous goal. Let's not discredit it. But for me, I would have picked Vitali.
I would have gone for Worcester Liverpool, just because it was such an emotional moment. I was watching the game up in the gantry actually, and just in the context of the match, you know, the way that that's kind of the one that stands out for me, just because of the pure emotion that erupted inside the stadium when that goal went in, and given how amazing Liverpool have been over the last however many years, to actually front them up, match them, go toe to toe with them all the way through the game. Mo Salah obviously missed a glorious opportunity prior to that, and then the composure that finished it. It's the composure to be able to it was brilliant.
The calmness that he had at that moment. He just froze himself, knew the keeper was flying out towards him, and just to lift it.
It was awesome. That for me. But again, Sergi worthy winner, and I don't disagree with you. Vita's finish against Chelsea was sensational. Both of them were, but great team goal. So
anyway, I think that's it for this week. If that's all right with you guys. I mean, Jamie said us to wrap it up.
Still got a few.
We'll have a couple of sides and chat about the rest of the season. We want to know in the comments below who has been your unsung hero this season. Get commenting below, and also remember, get in nice and early, wear your colours on Sunday, and remember, definitely please stay off the pitch. The players will come back out after. And cheers to an amazing season.
Cheers.
cheers guys.